If you have your FTP details handy, I'm going to use one of these domains as I just said earlier. All you require to get connected and publish your website online is file transfer protocol details. Okay, the host name, which is the host ID of your server. Some servers can give you FTP dot domain name. Some servers, they can actually give you the IP address as well. So even if you have your IP address of your domain, you can still use that as an alternative for the host ID. Username, they will obviously give you, and password, of course, obviously they will give you. As long as you have these three vital informations, you can get connected with your online website. Okay. Now, most of you already have your own personal one, so we're going to try individually on your personal websites. That's the domain I'm going to try. So when I click on it, this is where I land, which is, you can see the domain name, safeshieldinternational.com. It's a real online website. There's no doubt about it. Now, if I'll just type in the URL with another / and type London College and hit enter, the browser throws you an error that the URL cannot be found. Some browsers can show you 404 error. 404 means the orphanage link. You don't see the page. Server don't locate the folder or directory in your root hosting. So that's what the error you get. Now, in order to have that directory, we have to just first transfer it. So first things first, I'm going to go and define the site in Dreamweaver. We have the local folder in K drive, and we have the FTP details of online server. So using those two information, we will define our site in Dreamweaver. So I'm quickly going to the Dreamweaver's interface, and that's the site menu at the top. Let's quickly define the new site, and under the advanced tab, we will specify information for the category local info and the remote info. Okay, that's what you'll have to do as well. So the local information is static information for your computer files. Means I can give any name as my site, like London College. The local root folder, I have to browse correct folder from my K drive. You browse your own M drive folder wherever it is. So Dreamweaver activities, London College. Select. Now I'm just going to specify local. I don't need to specify any images folder right now. So that's my local information. And if I'll go to the remote information, it is asking me how you want to access your online server. Okay. Now here so far, you were all using none as an option because we didn't publish anything. Now I can drop down the menu and select FTP, which is File Transfer Protocol. So once I select FTP, you will see the server will ask you a few things. For example, it will ask you what should be your host name, what should be your host directory, your login, which is the username, and the password. We have all those details ready. Even if you don't have the host directory name ready, you can leave it blank, and Dreamweaver will directly connect with the root folder of your website hosting. So you don't have to worry too much about the root directory. But the other three details I have, so I'm quickly going to go and type those details. My FTP host account, as I can see, that's my FTP details. That's my host ID. Those who are using 000 web or some other hostings, they can give you alternate IP address as well. So use anything whichever works, right? They're both same. I'm going to paste that in my FTP host ID here. Under the login, I'm actually going to type and paste my username. And under the password, this is the temporary password, I'm going to type that. Now, most of the time, you can click on this Use Passive FTP checkbox. Now, this option, which you see here, Sometimes the firewall of your computer, which is your antivirus or your Windows operating system's firewalls, they can block the access for your computer to send file out to the internet just for the security purpose. Now, if you want to bypass that your firewall settings, then simply click on this passive mode. What this mode will do is any security settings you have for your firewall will be ignored. So in future, if you get any error that server cannot connect with the FTP and so on, just enable the passive FTP mode. It's not going to harm anything because this is your own FTP server, so you're not taking any huge risk. Okay. So I'm enabling that, and quickly to check whether everything is correct, I can click on this test button, and Dreamweaver prompts you that the connection to the web server successfully. Once you get this message, most of the job is done. Just say OK. Click OK on settings. It will create the temporary files for you. Just say OK for that. And done. You can see in the local root folder your local computer files. But this is the option. This is the files panel we have here. From the files panel, there's a drop down where you can actually change the view of your files from local to the remote files as well. For example, if I can see this is my local computer files, because at the moment my files panel is showing you the local files, right? But you can simply go and change the local view to remote, and Dreamweaver will try and connect with your FTP server. And you can see now within the same file panel, the view has changed to remote view, and what you see here is actually your online website files. Now, anything you do here, edit, delete, can actually affect your online pages. But most of the time when you do transfers, it's quite rigid to work here within the short window or the small files panel. The best option you can do is there is this little menu called expand. Very tiny icon within the files panel, but if you hit that icon, what you see in Dreamweaver is on the left hand side, it actually shows you your remote files. So you can see that as a remote files tab. And on the right hand side, all you will see here is your local files. Means right is the files from your computer versus left the files from your online hosting account. Very easy. Once we get this panel, you can always click on this icon to disable expand menu, and you'll go back to Dreamweaver's design view. Okay, and from file panels, you can again click on it and come back to this window. So it's easy to switch between two views. But normally when I do file transfer, I keep it expand mode because it's very easy for me to see both sides and do uploads and downloads. For time being, I'm going to see the local files are here, but if you see how many folders and files I have right now in my remote root folder, you don't see that in the real website because I've changed some settings using htaccess files. So I'm redirecting my entire hosting account to show that site under construction page. Once my site is fully functional and ready, I will remove that redirection and my client can see the actual website. Okay? You can do all these kind of things very, very easy. I'm not going to touch that point right now, how to do redirections, but for the time being, because there is no London College folder here, that's the reason in online domain, your actual URL is not functioning. So now our job is to actually create that directory on the server, in your web server, and then in that directory, we are simply going to transfer these files. So onto the left hand side, anywhere I can just right click, create new folder, and folder name should be exactly same as London College. This directory I'm creating because, as I said, I'm using my existing client's details. You guys have your own FTP accounts, so you don't need to create any subfolders. You should upload everything to the main root folder, okay? So that you don't have to type all these / subdomains and everything. Now I'm creating that, and you can see the London College folder is there. If I want to avoid all this confusion of seeing so many files and folder in my online server, you can actually do quick tweaking. You can actually go to the site menu from here, go to the manage sites, and I can actually edit some of the information. Like my remote information, I don't want to see all these files. I just want to see the folder of London College. So I can simply type my host directory, London College. Test it one more time, it's fine. Okay, done. And I can quickly click on this connect to remote host icon. Now what you see here, the remote site is not showing me the main root folder files. Now it is showing me only the subfolder which I've just created. It's making my life a bit more easier, okay, rather than causing confusions. So once we have the root folder, all we can do is simply select by holding shift. You can select all the files, or you can simply select one by one. It's up to you. So I'm simply going to select all the files, right click on them, and you can use option called put. Now put is FTP command, but in layman's language it is actually upload. So when we use terminology called upload, upload means sending from local to remote server, okay, and download means downloading from remote server to the local folder, okay. For upload, the real technical term is put, and for download, the actual terminology used is get. These are two FTP protocol commands to upload and download the files. So now, as I've selected everything, I'm right clicking on it using put, and just relax. Dreamweaver will transfer all the files. This is how exactly works with FileZilla as well. Okay. As the files are getting transferred, let me just quickly show you the sneak peek of FileZilla. It's installed on my computer. If you have Dreamweaver, you don't require FileZilla, but in case, you should know how it works as well. If you have FileZilla installed, under your programs directory, I have FileZilla FTP client. Now this is how actually FileZilla looks on screen. You can see. Now here, the only difference is at the top, it will ask you those information. Your host, your username, your password, port number. You don't have to do anything. It will take automatically. But sometimes if it doesn't, type the port number 21. Okay, 21 is the port number used for FTP for Windows computers. Rest host username password is as usual, the way we have used it in Dreamweaver. And then you can simply click on the quick connect, and FileZilla will also establish the FTP connection. Once it established, here, slightly different, opposite to Dreamweaver, you will see the local files in your left, and you will see the remote files in your right hand side. So it's slightly different than Dreamweaver's interface. Okay, but otherwise everything else is same. You can pick the file from the local computer, right click on it, and it will give you option to actually upload it to the server side. Okay, you should practice both, because sometimes if you're working in future and if you don't have access to Dreamweaver, you should have skills to use FileZilla as well. And if you ask my advice, FileZilla is a lot more quicker than Dreamweaver, and it comes free. A bit of tragedy, but that's the truth. Because I've tried uploading files. It is a lot of files. If I'm transferring about 80, 90 MB worth of website, I would choose FileZilla over Dreamweaver. It's just quicker. It's quite nice. Well, that's just small interface preview for you for FileZilla. At the background, we're back to Dreamweaver. Can you see the progress now? Do you see that all these local files from our computer has been transferred onto the remote server? You can match the timings as well. 5 past 10, all the files has been transferred, and the date. So when you access someone else's FTP account, you can actually see when the file has been last modified. If I'm working for a client, I'll try and check the last updated copy and download the last updated copy first, modified, and then only upload it. So you should develop these skills. Well, I'm quickly going to click on the refresh icon, which is here just next to the connect, just to make sure that everything is synchronized correctly. And we can go to the internet browser. Just refresh our link. There you go. Automatically, because in our root folder, we have index.html page. So the moment we type the name of the directory, web hosting or web server will automatically try and locate the index page. That's why when you type the domain in URL, you don't have to type index page here. Server will automatically pick it. Okay, and then you can see the rest of the site is functional. Home page, courses page, everything is right, functional, as we have designed yesterday. Okay, all our sprites are functional as well. So you have a fully functional site online. In future, you want to make a changes, just go to your Dreamweaver. Let's say you want to make change in your index file, or let's say if you want to make changes in, maybe I can just quickly change the background color of my index page, just to show you. Okay, you can select the index page, right click on it, select get this time because I'm downloading it. Dreamweaver asks you, do you want to download any dependent file, means any image or CSS file associated. I can just say quickly, no, I don't want it. And when you download, it actually overwrites your local copy. You can double click on the local copy, go to the CSS, that's my body CSS, and I can simply change the background color. Say okay, save my page. That's a small change I made because the client asked me to change color. I can again go back and expand my panel. Now this is my modified local page. You can see modified 1016. Local copy, remote copy is still 5 past 10. Means I can take the local copy now, right click, put. Keep an eye, 5 past 10 here. If I can refresh these remote files now, somehow it gets time, but then that's modified time. We can simply go back to the browser, refresh. Yeah, local time file will take some time. It might take about 2-3 minutes sometimes to refresh your FTP account. You uploaded, right, correctly? Yeah, it doesn't have any. Yeah. Let me upload it one more time. Put. It takes about 60 seconds to 90 seconds sometimes to refresh your hosting page. Now that's your hosting page. You can even drag and drop files, just in case. Yeah, it shows in local view. Well, we'll refresh and check again. We should do now because it shows the file has been updated. Not sure why it's not reflecting the color. Maybe we can check after 2-3 minutes, but it should show the reflected color. Yeah, sometimes it may fidget. Yeah, it may take a longer time than. Does it show the blue color on your screen? Let me try a different browser for a while. No. Well, we can try. Let me stop the recording. This is how to use FTP with multiple settings for upload, download, as well as using FileZilla. Now we can try individually on your FTP account. So upload any of your site, either London College ones or Vehicles United for testing purpose. Okay.